So
Yeah.
so after the game, there's a brawl. The bench is clear. I remember Curtis McLean was in it, but you come out and correct me wrong. You grabbed a hold of Tyler Longo, and he was their captain at the time, right? So can you kind of walk us through that story and what was going through your mind when you jumped? Are you looking for him, or what was going through your head?
Well, they had, I think it was a DJ Miracle at the time. They brought him in,
Yeah.
and so go rewind to the first game. I remember they brought him in because they were gonna try and wrangle me to try to keep me under control. So, and between, so you, like you said, Flemmer, like the rival between Trenton and Wellington was so intense, and I exuded that. Like I wouldn't sleep for, like, I'm not joking. If we had to play them on a weekday game or like on Friday, I wouldn't sleep all week at all because I'd be just wound right up. And usually I ended up getting thrown out in the first 2-3 minutes because I just tried to go nuts. I couldn't handle myself. It was brutal. So, but what I did, I remember him coming around the net in the back. You remember how in Wellington, the old Duke Dome, where it's all like concrete in the home end, and I just ran him as hard as I could and just demolished him. And that was sort of set the tone for the series, but also set the tone between him and I. And he sort of stayed away from me after that. And anyways, Wellington had a great team. Tyler Longo, obviously, he's incredible talent at the time, and they had so many guys like, Tyler Rivers and Ryan Woodward and Brandon Harker, and just so many guys that could really put the puck in the net, and and they were heart and soul guys too. Like both teams, we all played against each other through. Like it was quite a rivalry all the way through, and with the guys, anyways. But aside from the two towns, but anyways, yeah, they won that game. I think they scored the empty netter, made it 3-1. Well, there was a minute left or whatever, and they threw out Miracle. I think it was DJ, I think, or BJ. I can't remember. Anyways, they threw him out with Curtis, and he started going after Curtis. Well, our big Russian at the time was out there, Andre Gershushkin, and he intercepted him. But at the time, I was on the bench, and I remember Alex going, "Goody, go." I'm looking at him going, "I can't. There's 5 guys on the ice." He's like, "No, just go." And I'm like, "Okay." So I left my gloves on the bench and just hopped over. Well, I skated over to where DJ was to try to fight him. And then I turn around and it's just a huge, like, everybody started going. And of course, DJ was hanging on to Andre like for dear life, and Andre was a strong, couldn't fight, but I mean, he was just a big, strong Russian, so like he was fine. And I turned around, and I remember Chris Johnson. He was from Thunder Bay, and he was a defenseman we had, and he was going around like sucker punching guys, and then he was screaming and yelling. It was just like a chaotic. Anyways, I seen Tyler skating across the ice to try and get him, and I caught Tyler just as he was going to sucker Chris, and I caught him. And when I caught him, he went down on the ice, and I just remember like when I caught him, the way it worked, I fell right on top of Tyler, and I just remember just going at him. And the next thing I remember is John Gibbons coming on the ice and pulling me off of him. And
I didn't know
and
that.
I remember John going, "Matt, you got to stop, Matt. You're going to kill him." And I got up, and John took me, and Scotty Hilton was the trainer. They like pulled me into the dressing room down below, and yeah. So then, anyways, I had to take the fall for all that. Like so that Skip didn't get in shit. So they said I acted alone, and it was all me. But back then I only got 8 games really, so which really wasn't all that bad. And I just remember poor Tyler there the next game. Both his eyes are black, and swelled right shut. And then we won the next 3 games. They were so afraid of us, like we beat the hell out of them, and it was still a good series, but we'd owned them mentally after that. And I have some pictures of that, like the old, and somebody gave me, and I remember there's a picture of of Brandon Sacco with his black blocker still on, had a guy on the ground just giving it to him. You know, some of the pictures are pretty cool. So, but it was an amazing rivalry, and the two towns were just right in the middle of it. And it was fantastic, and it set it up for a few years after that too. You know, so and it's just unfortunate it's not the same anymore.